Football Outsiders DVOA had this team at 10th overall offense last year, even despite Jared Goff being a quarterback. 4th overall defense last season. Super, super strong there. The projections from Football Outsiders, mean projection of 9.1 wins, which, as you can see on your screen, would be a full nearly game and a half under their win total that is posted right now, according, again, to Football Outsiders. But they do have them as a playoff contender. And, again, the metric that they use here is 9 to 11 wins. They think that if you can get to like 9 to 11 wins, that you're at least going to be in the mix for the playoffs. They have them getting there nearly 40% of the time, and they have them winning the Super Bowl 3.5% of the time. ESPN has them as the 7th most talented roster heading into 2021. Our friends at Sharp Football, 10th toughest schedule here, though, for this Rams team. And a lot of that has to do with just the divisions that they play in. If you look right here, they do this by forecasted wins. And if you just look right on your, what we just had on the screen right there, you can see where the forecasted wins are for all of the teams within their division. It is going to be a very tough division. And so that is something that we have said from the get-go. Even though I'm bullish on this Rams team, it's going to be a tough division no matter what. I mean, there is not an easy out in that division from top to bottom. But over at Sharp Football, they do have this team projected at 10.5 wins, which is right on the number. So no real value one way or the other if you wanted to go with that projection system. Pro Football Focus power ranks them number 6 in the NFL heading into the season with a projection of 9.3 wins. So they fall more in line with Football Outsiders and have them at least a game under the win total that you see on your screen right there. Offensive line, they were 8th rated. They're 8th rated as we enter the 2021 season. Andrew Whitworth is like one of the guys that just continues to defy father time out there. He is 39 years old heading into this and graded out at an 86.8 last year, the 6th best left tackle in all of the NFL at 39 years old. I mean, the guy just continues to defy everything. And then at right tackle, Rob Havenstein had a great year as well. So 2 tackles that are really still performing super well. Something that Matthew Stafford has not had in a long time is some protection on the offensive line. Both guard positions, David Edwards and Austin Corbett, were above the average replacement player last year, was significantly above the average replacement player. And Corbett is actually going to slide over and play center this year, but regardless, he's going to be an upgrade again for Matthew Stafford. Really, the only weak spot is at the right guard position. Bobby Evans is a guy they're going to really be looking to take a step up this year and play a little bit better for them. The defensive line, I don't need to tell you what goes on that defensive line. 4th rated heading into 2021. Aaron Donald is maybe the greatest defensive player. I know old school people are going to just scream at me and say whatever. Like, here's the thing. This guy, what he has been able to do over the last 5 seasons, Gil.
Yes, sir.
456 quarterback pressures. That is 86 more than the next closest player, while getting double and I'm not getting triple teamed.
Yeah.
This is not one-on-one situations where this guy's just beating these guys and he's got 86 more pressures than the next closest player over the last 5 seasons. We are talking a guy that gets double teamed every play and sometimes triple teamed, and he's still getting in there and getting this done. It's absolutely phenomenal, and he's so dominant that it really did kind of revitalize like a Dante Fowler Jr. who plays for this team, who had who by far the best season of his career last year. Leonard Floyd, the best season of his career as well. And so these guys are thriving because Aaron Donald takes so much attention that they're able to kind of do their thing in one-on-one situations, and typically against one of the worse off offensive linemen as well, because you're putting your best offensive lineman and matching that guy up with Aaron Donald, and so it is it's pretty fantastic on this defensive line for the outlook for this season. And so no reason to think that it's not going to be as dominant as it has been the last couple of years. Again, we always say, barring injury. The secondary, Jalen Ramsey is in his prime. This is the reason why I think, too, that they looked at this roster, Sean McVay and company looked at this roster and just said, hey, look, we've got Aaron Donald in his prime. We've got Jalen Ramsey in his prime. We've got some pretty good receivers. We've got all this stuff. And we cannot just waste these prime years of these guys. And I think that's the reason they go out and they get Matthew Stafford. I mean, Jalen Ramsey allowed right under half a yard per coverage snap last year. And that is how good he was in coverage. And again, yes, the counting stats don't always show that, but we talk about this with corners all the time. Like the counting stats for corners almost are, when they have a ton of tackles or a ton of pass breakups and all this stuff like that, it's almost a negative towards the guy, because that means they're throwing at you all the time. Like if you have like really low counting stats, sometimes it's actually for the better, because it means they're avoiding you and not throwing to you. So it's a little misleading sometimes. You look at Jalen Ramsey's stats there, but Darius Williams, and another corner for them, is
I was going to bring up Darius Williams. So with all the attention on Jalen Ramsey, Darius Williams, if I'm not mistaken, a top 20 rated corner as well.
Yeah, and his average, he gave up 0.8 yards per coverage snap last year. Both of those top 10 per snap basis for both of those guys. And then, look, John Johnson did leave. Troy Hill did leave. They're both in Cleveland now. But they've got David Long. They've got Terrell Burgess. These are both young guys that have improved. They think are improving, and they think are going to continue to improve here in 2021. And really what we look here, and I saw that we put up some of the futures odds and stuff, is does the offensive philosophy for this team change drastically now? Like, I know that we thought that maybe they were a little bit more run heavy than they were. When you really dig into the numbers, they weren't all that run heavy, but they certainly did protect Jared Goff and didn't want him to get exposed as much as some of the other quarterbacks in the league. Well, look, they should be in the business of throwing more, right? You go out and you get Matthew Stafford for a reason. You're not going to run the same offense you ran with Jared Goff with Matthew Stafford. Plus, Cam Akers goes down, and yes, Darrell Henderson I think is going to be perfectly fine, but he's not Cam Akers. And again, you brought in a guy to be able to throw the ball more. You have a good offensive line. You've got a guy with a much stronger arm, with a much higher football IQ, and a guy that doesn't turn the ball over as much. So you have to be willing, I think, to kind of push on that. And so that's why, like, I looked at this and I almost pulled the trigger. I couldn't find the number here in town. I see this on, that it's available around the rest of the country, but not necessarily from a Stafford perspective. But I think Cooper Kupp is a guy that maybe you could look at maybe taking some overs on. I think that, we've seen Matthew Stafford operate with a dominant slot guy before, whenever Golden Tate was in Detroit, and he was running all those routes out of the slot, and he was able to get over. Matthew Stafford was able to really take advantage of a good slot receiver, and maybe not necessarily the yardage prop, but just the raw receptions. I could see Cooper Kupp having just a ton of receptions, being that real true chain mover guy for this offense. And so I kind of like to look at the over on the reception total for him here, but I'm pretty bullish on this team. We've put it up a couple different times. I've got him division. I've got him conference. I've got him Super Bowl. And listen, I think that it has all the makings here with a really good and experienced quarterback. They have enough talent, and they have enough talent on the offensive line, on the defensive line. They have enough talent in the secondary. I think that it's really going to come down, as long as this team can stay healthy, I think they're going to really be contending for not only the conference, but I think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders as well. They're going to take advantage of this window that they have with these guys, superstars in their prime. And I like this Rams team a lot.